Today, we witness the different opinions of each opponent regards the evidences of where the first Mass held. I would like to say thank you for your attention, and we hope we enlighten your mind about these arguments. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all for the duologue about parliamentary debate of the first Mass occurred in the Philippines. It's either in Limasaua or in Masao. In this argument, we are about to witness the different evidences that show and prove where is the first Mass happened. Each opponent has the right to state their proposition about the topic. Without further ado, let's start the debate with Ms. Thea Therese J. The first piece of evidence to back up the claim is that the first Mass in the Philippines took place on an island called Mazava in Albo's account and Mazao in Pagafeta's account. According to eyewitness accounts of Magellan voyage, they both claim that they traveled westward from the island of Homonhon to an island of Leyte, then turned southwest to reach this island. The island of Limasaua in southern Leyte is the counterpart based on geographic location provided by Albo and Pagafetta. On contrary, according to Father Fernando Collins of Historian, Magellan went to Butuan and celebrated the first Mass and erected a cross there in his work Labor Evangelica. To back this up, Antonio Pigafetta testified that he gave the Queen Mother of France a gift of a certain item. A copy of Pigafetta's account was given to Louis of Savory. According to Francis I. Gian Batista Ramusio, Jacques Fabre translated the manuscript into French and Simon de Collins imprinted them. In addition, the monument was erected in 1872 to commemorate the first Mass in Butuan, which took place on April 8, 1521. Romusio's version of Pigafetta's manuscript is not valid. Next, let's welcome Ms. Kisha Elaine V. Clemente.
I believe that the first Mass in the Philippines happened in Masao. So these are the evidences that proves that the first Mass in the Philippines happened in Masao. First, in all primary sources, including the diary of Antonio Pigafetta, the Chronicle of Magellan Voyage, the name of the place was Mazawa. Limasawa has 4 syllables and begins with another letter. Second, according to the primary records, the expedition traveled 20 to 25 leagues from Homonhon, the first landing point. If they had been in Limasaua, the distance is only 14.6 leagues or one-half of the length. Third, the distance to Cebu from Mazawa, according to Pigafetta, was 35 leagues or 140 miles. The distance from Limasaua to Cebu is only 80 miles. Fourth, it was mentioned that the king came to their ship in a balanghay. Butuan is now the site of the least 9 excavated balanghay relics. By contrast, Limasaua has no relics or significant archaeological relics or balanghay tradition. And lastly, the Western explorer got excited at the abundance of the gold in Masawa, for that was the main currency at the time. Both archaeological relics and gold mines today attested to the abundance of the gold Agusan Valley.
Let's welcome Ms. Ronaya M. Ahmad.
So, Limasaua is as famous as it is believed to be the site of the first Mass in Philippine soil, officiated on Easter Sunday of March 31 in 1521 by Father Pedro de Valderrama under the fleet of Ferdinand Magellan. And also, the Catholic hierarchy said it stands by the proceedings and findings of a panel of historians affirming Limasaua Island as the site of the first Easter Sunday Mass in the country. So, in 1921, in celebration of the quadricentennial of the arrival of the Magellan expedition in the Philippines, he wrote the program for Limasaua exhibit establishing the fact that first Mass was celebrated in Limasaua Island.
Let's welcome Ms. Liwaya A. Cabalida.
According to our research, the first documented Catholic Mass in the Philippines was held on March 31, 1521, Easter Sunday. It was conducted by Father Pedro de Valderrama of Ferdinand Magellan's expedition along the shores of what was referred to in the journals of Antonio Pigafetta as Masao. Today, this site is widely believed by many historians and the government to be Limasawa of the tip of southern Leyte. However, until at least the 19th century, the prevailing belief was the first Mass was held in Butuan. This belief is maintained by some who asserts that first Mass was instead held of Masao, Butuan.
Let's welcome Miss Rina Gail Tolosa.
These are the evidences that proves that first Mass happened in Limasawa. The most complete and reliable account of the Magellan expedition into Philippine shores in 1521 is that of Antonio Pigafetta, which is deemed as the only credible primary source of report on the celebration of the first Christian Mass on Philippine soil. James Robertson's English translation of the original Italian manuscript of Pigafetta's account is most reliable for being faithful to the original text as duly certified by the University of the Philippines, Department of European Language. Pigafetta, Mazawa, the site of the first Christian Mass held on Philippine soil, is an island lying off the southwestern tip of Leyte, while Masao in Butuan is not an island but a barangay of Butuan City. Located in a delta of the Agusan River along the coast of northern Mindanao, the position of Mazawa, as plotted by Pigafetta, matched that of Limasawa. The measurement of distance between Homonhon and Limasawa, between Limasawa and Cebu, as computed by the Pro-Limasawa group, matches or approximates the delineation made by Pigafetta of the distance between Homonhon and Mazawa and between Mazawa and Cebu.
Let's welcome Miss Gissery C. Euro.
First Mass in the Philippines. Here are the evidences that the first Mass happened in Masao. The first evidence is that in all primary sources, including the diary of Antonio Pigafetta, a chronicle of Magellan's voyage, the name of the place was Mazawa. The second evidence is according to the primary records, the expedition travels 20 to 25 leagues from Homonhon, the first landing point. If they had been to Limasawa Island, the distance is only 14.6 leagues or one-half of that length. Third, the distance to Cebu from Mazao, according to Pigafetta, was 35 leagues or 140 miles. And the last evidence was according to Zaid, who identified Masao in Butuan as the location of the first Mass. The basis of Zaid's claim is the diary of Antonio Pigafetta, Chronicle of Magellan's Voyage.
Let's welcome Miss Karen Jane Arias.
Limasawa is historic. Why? Because in that the first Christian Mass in Far East was celebrated in Limasawa Island of Mazawa. Limasawa is known because it is famous as it is believed to be the site of the first Mass Philippine soil. On March 25, 1521, Ferdinand Magellan reached the island Limasawa in Leyte in his quest to circumnavigate the globe and find new trade. Limasawa has its low Republic Act No. 2733, an act to declare the site in Magallanes, Limasaua Island in the province of Leyte, where the first Mass in the Philippines was held as a national shrine, to provide for the preservation of historical monuments and landmarks thereat and for other purposes.
Next,
We believe that the first Mass was held in Masao, Butuan City, not Limasaua at Southern Leyte. The first Mass in the Philippines, it was held on March 31, 1521, officiated by Prior Pedro Valderrama, the Andalusian chaplain of the fleet. It marked the birth of Roman Catholicism in the Philippines. Here are the evidences that proves that the first Mass happened in Masao. In all primary sources, including the diary of Antonio Pigafetta, the Chronicles of Magellan's voyage, the name of the place was Manzawa. Limasaua has 4 syllables and begins with another letter. Manzawa can be found in Butuan language, meaning the bright or light. Pinamankulan or Pinangkuan means the place where the ritual is held. Bangkasi or Bangkasu means the table on which an offering to God is placed. The expedition traveled 20 to 25 leagues from the Homohon, the first landing point. If they had been Limasaua Island, the distance is only 14.6 leagues. The distance to Cebu from Manzawa, according to Pigafetta, was 35 leagues or 140 miles. The distance from the Limasaua to Cebu is only 80 miles. It was mentioned that the king to their ship in Balanghay. Butuan is now the site of at least 9 excavated Balanghay relics by contracts. And according to Butuan City Cultural and Historical Foundation Incorporation, there are 28 pieces of scientific evidences and 10 to 1600-year-old. Was Balanghay recovered? Limasaua has no relics or Balanghay tradition. Pigafetta mentioned about the abundance of gold and gold mines in Manzawa. He mentioned about the houses built high above the ground. He also described it was a circular like ray. Limasaua Island shape is elongated like a cat worm, and according to the genus Limapra, historical accounts stated that the shape of the island is almost circular, 3 to 4 leagues, translate to an area up to 3,930 hectares. In contrast, Limasaua is only 698 hectares. Pigafetta also mentioned the notable farmlands, livestock, and even harvest. Limasaua's soil is too sandy for rice planting. The presence of timber, it was built on a great timbers high above the ground. Butuan is now called the Timber City of the South. And he also mentioned the abundant sources of livestock and fruits, which are all present in Masao, Butuan. That's all. Thank you.
let's welcome Miss Ashla Mohammed Asdilio.
Magellan did not go to Butuan to meet the king there. According to Pigafetta and Albo, while in the island of Mazawa, they met 2 chieftains. One is the chieftain of Mazawa and one is the chieftain of Butuan, who was said to be visiting the island. This opposed to the book written Historia de Mindanao y Jolo, written by Francisco Combos, S.J., who worked as a missionary in the Philippines. He stated that Magellan went to Butuan because they heard the king in Butuan is more powerful and they wanted to meet him. It was said that their expectations were satisfied by the king. As a result, they planted a cross on the hill in a solemn ceremony as sign of future alliance. In Francisco Colin's work, the first mass occurred the same day they planted a cross. In this case, I hereby agree to Pigafetta's and Albo's account because they are eyewitness and I considered as the first-hand accounts. Pigafetta's work is the most detailed and reliable source of information regarding Magellan's voyage compared to the claims stated by second-hand accounts. Although the evidences presented came from only 2 accounts, those evidences are considered as primary sources. The corroboration of information and statements on those 2 were present while the pro-Butuan claims are mostly based from second-hand accounts. Even though their claims are supported by the historians, the corroboration of information and statements are inconsistent. The evidences above mentioned, such as the evidence from Albo's logbook and Pigafetta's account, the 2 native kings, the 7 days at Mazawa along with the other evidences, such as the confirmatory evidence from the Legazpi expedition, is already enough for me to affirm that Limasawa is the original place where the first Mass in the Philippines was held on. With the quincentennial celebration approaching, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, or the CBCP, including myself, hopes that the debates on the true location of the first Mass will finally be resolved.
Good day, everyone. I am Julito Carabanya, and I believe that the first Mass of the Philippines was held in Masao. And here are some pieces of evidence. The report of Antonio Brito, governor of Malacca, to the Portuguese king was prima facie evidence that Magellan indeed went to the island of Spice Butuan, lag at the 9th latitude, and state that the same island with the cross and king's crown at the summit of the highest mountain. According to the BCHFI, it has gathered 28 new pieces of scientific evidence and comparisons between the 2 islands. Butuan's claim, including the recovery of 10 Balahanghai boats which were accidentally dug up near Masao River in 1976. A shrine was built for the ancient boats which were used by natives in Butuan for sea travel even before Spaniards came. In the verifiable original journal of Antonio Pigafetta, the official chronicler of the Magellan's-led expedition in 1521, exclusively affirmed times that the island Masao in Mindanao was where the first Mass was held. Nowhere in the name words Limasawa were mentioned at all per Pageta's account.